Greetings and salutations, my dear esteemed guests and subscribers. This is of course your favorite airdrop hunter, Light here, and today we are going to be focusing on LayerZero. And this was one of the drops that I put on my top 5 for the next year in my yesterday's video. In case you didn't check that out, I really recommend you doing so because it's basically one of the most important videos that I've done the whole year. Link is on the corner. Now let's talk about LayerZero, which is already quite farm dropped because there has been already confirmation on Twitter that there is going to be a launch of a token which is going to be happening in the first half of 2024. So before June, basically. Now, there's obviously multitude of different criterias which are being speculated on, which are going to be leading into the eventual LayerZero airdrop. There is likely going to be some form of a token sale, perhaps, as well. And that's obviously something you definitely also want to participate alongside with the airdrop if it actually happens. But now in this video, we're going to be focusing on potential criteria for the LayerZero airdrop and the dApps that are basically part of their ecosystem. But before we go into that, a bit of a quick shill on my Google spreadsheet, which I've been updating on a daily basis. Basically, all types of dApps that don't have currently tokens. I've been updating this almost on a daily basis. More entries coming on, more and more. And as more airdrops are being announced and speculations on point systems, this also has a individual tab for the SoFi protocols and also all the layer 2 mania that's basically going on right now. This I actually have to update on a bit more frequent basis because there's so much information basically merging out. But let's get started with the first tool you definitely want to use, which is called LayerZero. And this is just a very good airdrop tool. It's totally free. It does have a paid version which costs $5. And this allows you to basically look into, well, many of the different, EVM chains out there. And what we're going to be doing obviously here is we're going to be connecting to the LayerZero. We're going to be checking our private key and we're going to be talking about a lot of the criteria because this is usually a really, really good way to measure a lot of the things. So number one thing here obviously is the volume. Now LayerZero, as we're going to be soon exploring, actually has quite many different dApps. So it might be that one bridge amount may not cut it. So it may be 2 criteria usually: the amount of interactions through the bridge or the volume bridged out. Because bridging from layer 2 to layer 2 is frankly very cheap. So it might be based on volume rather than the transactions. So at least volume should be above $100. I think to put it on the safe side, $500 or $1,000 might be the minimum. And you want to at least have above 10 transactions to basically be eligible for the very first tier. There's probably going to be tiered drop. The base criteria is probably going to be 500 volume and 10 transactions. If they, depending on what type of thing they want to do, they want to give many people as possible, or they want to have a bit more stricter criteria. Obviously, unique days, unique weeks, unique months. I actually don't have that much of volume. Obviously, as you can see, many people have thousands and thousands, even millions. But the unique months that I have is 11. That's a good number. That's a very good number. And people saying, well, many people have come to me and asked me, is it too late to farm? I think the cutoff date, let's assume it's going to be releasing at the beginning of summer or end of May. I believe the cutoff date is going to be on February. So doing transactions on December, and there might be a bonus for people who did transactions on 23. That might be a multiplier. And source chains, I've done 7 of them. I'm actually more in the upper echelons there. And destination chains also, there's not really that many that have done so many. So, oh my god, like only 12 people for 25 days. But yeah, this is a good criteria to kind of see what's going on, the destination chains and the dApp list, and we will go into that in a second. So the first dApp on our list, so this is where we can see LayerZeroScan.com/protocol. Here we can see all the big chains. And basically on the front page, you have all the relevant ones. So Stargate is kind of like what started out this whole craze. Most people use that to basically bridge out Then there is Merkley, Angle, CoreDAO, which is with Bitcoin, Aptos Bridge. We have talked about that many times on the channel. That might have its own individual token even. Not 100% sure about that. And then there's BTCB, which is, I think it's with Stacks. I have used that myself. And then there are a lot of like a bit more smaller ones, like the testnet bridge. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think the testnet will count to anything, especially if you're going to start now. So probably people who interacted with testnet on like the beginning of the year maybe amount to something. And then there's some couple of dApps which we're going to be individually looking into. And then on the page 2 and 3, we have like very, very low volume things. And I wouldn't really interact with most of these. Some of them already have their own tokens, so might want to do like, two birds with one stone criteria. So one of the first ones we have here is Dapgate. And this is basically just allowing us to transfer, NFTs across bridges. These are kind of like still like relatively new technology, which is not like super popular. And what I recommend here is just using chains that you are already farming. So I already have most transactions in most of these, but then there are like chains here which I haven't used at all, like Fuse. Mantle I've used very little, Polygon ZK EVM, and OPBNB, for example. Okay, so there are certain pairings that you're not able to do, but let's do OP mainnet. So I'm going to be doing a mint here. This shouldn't be costing a lot. $1, let's say we can lower it down. You can go through the chains, by the way, and find the one that is cheapest. This is definitely not the cheapest. We talked about on yesterday's video, on February, we're going to be seeing a massive drop on the gas prices. It's actually crazy how much they're going to be going down. I think it's like 90% or something like that for these fees. So it's going to be a great time for EVMs. And then after you have minted, you are going to be bridging this NFT. And as you can see, there's already quite many of these transactions already happening. And the bridging obviously going to be costing you more than the other thing, the minting. So that cost me $3, and definitely not the cheapest route that I just shows random ones, okay. And I just like one thing to add here, that this is going to be very gas intensive compared to a lot of the other farming, because bridges are involved and bridges are not exactly super cheap to interact with. And then there's this ONFT hyper bridge. It basically sends to multiple destinations. You want to use that. Then you want to use the ZK one. Then there's a gas refuel. So let's say you want to interact with like something that uses something different than Ethereum. Like I don't know what this uses, some jewel thing. I can basically give out some Ethereum, and like I can now probably bridge something. Okay, I don't have enough balance for this transaction. So there is this sort of a gas refuel system that you're able to use. And this is allowing you to, in certain circumstances, let's try Horizon here. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what's up with that, but it's supposed to like basically allow you to refuel things. Oh yeah, never mind. So it's basically changing from the base chain. So I can do this on reverse. So I don't have any Zen, and now I'm just sending Ethereum, and it's basically going to be converting it into Horizon in the destination chain. So this is a very convenient tool, actually. Very convenient, because yes, there are probably some like router things you can use, but this is like a very convenient way to obtain gas on these weird chains that nobody uses. Then there's the OFT bridge, and I don't actually know what this is about. And then there's this hyper bridge. And I guess this is sending to multiple different things, and you can play around with this. This has many functionalities. So this is one of the things. Then there is this NFT collection called Ghostly Ghosts. Now, I think the owners are anonymous. We don't exactly know, but this is the first NFT collection on LayerZero Labs. And I do believe this is going to be a criteria. I definitely hope so, because I actually invested some money into it. And now the floor price is actually going down. Damn it. So I actually bought the activity has been pretty crazy. So right now actually is a good position to buy, given to the fact that at some point this was like half an ETH. So relatively low price point to kind of get into. You can wait a couple of days. And I think these holders might be getting something. So there's only 6,000 of these. So they're kind of rare. So I do believe this is going to be one of the criterias for this upcoming drop. Maybe I'm betting. Obviously, I bought 2 of them, so I really hope that this is going to be one of the criteria. And it's not super high entry because I know there's at least one other chain that has a similar thing going on, and that has a 2 ETH price point. So yeah. Then we obviously have the Stargate thing. On Stargate, you have a couple of functionalities. One is obviously transferring between the chains. So there's a lot of different chains available here, and you can change a lot of different tokens, whatever you desire. And this is something you should use for the most part. I mean, Orbiter and Bungie are kind of faster and maybe have different functionalities there. But you want to be participating on this specific airdrop, you definitely want to use Stargate. Now, a lot of different dApps use the same interface, so you might see this interface somewhere else, and they're all using the same thing underneath. What you also can do is stake your Stargate token, and this will give you these vested Stargate tokens, and that is giving you, by the way, USD rewards. Sadly, the gas is higher than claiming these on Ethereum, so I think back then when I locked first time, it was only on Ethereum. Right now, you can lock it on Optimism and other chains as well. But the voting power obviously gives you a right to vote that snapshot. And here, if there's going to be a new proposal coming in, this one just ended 17 hours ago, you have the opportunity to perhaps the people who have interacted with Stargate are going to be available for the LayerZero, and Snapshot might do their own airdrop at some point. Governance voting has been historically also a criteria for many drops. So that's something you want to do. It doesn't matter if it's Stargate, you just have any DAO tokens whatsoever on the snapshot list. If it's free to vote, you definitely should always vote, whether it's abstaining or voting yes or no. Next up, we have Merkley, and this is very similar to the one that we had earlier. It has a bit more different roster of chains, I believe, because I don't think that all the same ones were available there. And also they do have a wormhole here, which is another LayerZero competitor, basically. A bit more or less talked about, but nonetheless very important. And this also has the NFT bridge that you can interact with here. And you want to do that. Also have... okay, this gas thing is not available right now. But this is another interface that you can basically use to deploy contracts and, bridge your NFTs. So another one to look into, I guess. And they don't have their own token, by the way. So they might have an airdrop themselves. And that applies to Dapgate as well. So neither of these have airdrops. And then there's also a third one called LA2 Marathon. And very simple, very, 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 very simple to use. So I'm going to show how it's done. I mean, I think all of these 3 are essentially the same, or close to being the same. So whereas I'm going to do Zora, I'm going to mint a Zora NFT. Here we go, confirming it. This one was very much cheaper compared to Polygon ZK EVM. And once it's minted out, we are able to send it to another chain. And where should we send it to? There's apparently like limited places where we can send it. So I guess I'm sending it to the highest priority here, which is Linea. And then we're going to be selecting the runner we're going to be sending out. And then we can confirm. So that's kind of... Okay, so there's this. They also happen to have some type of own token, and apparently we're going to be getting a reward after the Mara has been done. So you're going to be getting. Well, you can look into this yourself. Here, what is okay? Mara is an unlimited supply, so I guess we don't expect a lot of value for this token, but it's nice that they're doing something. Then we have the Aptos bridge, very self-explanatory. You should use. Does it have Sui? No, it doesn't seem like it does. So that's out of the question. But yes, if you want to send from Aptos to layer 2s or vice versa, you should use this one. And then we have L2 Telegraph. This is basically sending messages instead of NFTs. It does also have this bridging NFT technology here. and bridging different types of tokens as well, claiming layer 2 tokens. And you can send this, one of the things you should mint is this OG NFT thing. So I already have this, but this is on ZK Sync, and the cost is only 20 cents. So yeah, you wanna get this. I think, do I have this? Well, I'm gonna minting another one just for the case of it. And obviously a lot of the same dApps here available as on the other sites, a bit more smaller, pool of them, but definitely I would mint the OG NFT. And then we're closing into our very last ones. We have MintDAO, and this one actually has this LayerZero Expedition token. The cool thing about this one is that it can be minted on multiple different chains. So we have Ethereum, BNB, Polygon, Avalanche, blah, 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 blah. Minted on the chain that is where you're farming. So that is Linea, Scroll, and Base in this list. Whatever of those three you want to. Obviously, I would prefer Scroll or Linea because Base drop may not happen. And once you actually got this NFT minted through this platform, and you do need to follow Twitter and stuff like that, you actually have the opportunity to bridge it as well. For some reason, though, I don't see my, I don't see it. Actually, let me try to change this chain here. So let me, all the networks. Let me refresh this. So I had a problem of actually making it appear on the list. There's something called LayerZero Prime Quest. There's a couple of things you can mint on the website though, and the MintDAO spaceship, you should be minting this as well. It's free. MintDAO doesn't have their own token yet, so that's another one. And I think these other ones have basically, the mint has ended. There's a couple of ones which are going to be released in the future, but at least these two you should be minting. They're very cheap, and also use the bridging technology to basically send them out. How do I change this goddamn chain here? Let's put a Polygon. Okay, it's giving me problems right now. Whatever. I'm gonna play with it later on. And then there's also this website called LayerZero News, LayerZero.news. This one also has. Let's see what this is about. Okay, no, I don't want to go. I want to go into the website of the. There we go. Omnichain wallet domains. Okay, these are already. We have talked about these on the channel before. So I guess you could use these as well. Getting one of these domains doesn't really hurt. But that's basically everything we have so far. There are some extra NFTs, but I always don't really recommend buying them on second markets. I know there are some NFTs which have been minted by the LayerZero collection, but you should mint the ones that we featured here today. The one that I can't remember top of my head has been already, that ship has sailed, and there might be some more of them. So LayerZero probably does have some Zeely page, or let's see, Quest and LayerZero. Yeah, in the layer 3, this is the last thing you want to be doing. So I've already completed these. So on the layer 3, you have the opportunity to do these quests and basically participate on. Maybe there will be some type of award from this one, but I don't know if this is actually run by the LayerZero team itself, or is it just a quest that is basically done by layer 3. But I'm going to add it still to the list. And that's basically what we have here for this whole ecosystem. There might be more criteria coming along, so I sure recommend you going to our Discord and Telegrams, because we usually post those quest things. And next up, we're going to be covering Wormhole, and maybe after that, we're just going to have another vote, which chain we're going to be looking into after that. But happy Christmas, guys, and keep grinding. As I said, this is one of the top 5 drops, and you don't want to miss it out. Thanks for watching. I will be seeing you in the next video.